What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we got some pretty interesting news pertaining to the next secret cache camo. So the secret cache has basically been in the game since I think January. So we've had some time to enjoy the secret cache and earn some legendary skins, as well as all the Power Nova camos for every weapon in the game. But let's be honest, there are some contents within this secret cache that could sometimes overstay its welcome. Of course, this is the very first time that we're getting this stuff, so all of this could be experimental. You know, they're still trying to gauge how long they could really have a camo be around or a legendary skin. You know, they want to make sure that many players could actually unlock this with a good amount of time. We got to understand that, you know, people that play COD Mobile, you know, they have lives outside of this game. You know, they have jobs, they have, you know, other things to do. So they may not have time like, let's say I do, or other players that, you know, play ranked all day to unlock everything that they can for the secret cache. So they want to give them as much time as possible for them to unlock everything. It's understandable, but at the same time, you know, some of the content that is in the secret cache does overstay its welcome. This Power Nova is kind of like a good example of this. The AMAX and the stun baton are a little bit more understandable because, you know, getting the shards, at least, you know, back then was a little bit more tougher than it is now. Because, I mean, keep in mind with this new ICB rifle for the AK-47 that came out this season, it's very easy to unlock. In fact, like, there's a lot of players already that are pretty close to unlocking it now. Usually it would have taken like maybe 2 or 3 months to unlock the skin, but now we're getting this stuff pretty fast. You could say that they extended the time for the Power Nova mainly because, you know, in the early days of the secret cache, a lot of people were complaining that they were just getting nothing but coins, and the Power Nova drop rates were kind of scarce. So it did take people quite a while to actually get Power Nova on everything. But now that the drop rates are significantly higher, you could get like a month's worth of Power Nova crates like in 1 week. And that's if you're comparing like the old drop rates with the new drop rates. And don't get me wrong, Power Nova is a very, very good camo. Like this was, I'm sure a lot of us were stunned when it first came out. And even then, there are still players till this day that are using the camo. They really enjoy it. But at this point, most of the players that play this game on a regular basis already have it on everything, and they've been having it on every gun for a few seasons at this point. So I was thinking by this season, we would have had an updated camo. I assumed that Lunar Tier was actually going to be taking the place of the Power Nova camo, given that like there was, I mean, I didn't even know about the Near Automata sort of collaboration event happening, you know, right now. I didn't know that was going to happen this season. And even with Lunar Tier, it's so easy to get. I mean, in the first fucking day, I ended up getting like 44 of those Lunar Tier crates. And as of right now, I just need like maybe 5 more to just finish everything. So now it's not necessarily hard to get Power Nova, but again, it doesn't have to stay on the secret cache for such a long time. But the reason why I'm mentioning this news right now is because we finally got our, I guess, our 30-day notice that the Power Nova is actually going to be going away. So we are going to be getting a new camo next season. So seeing the notice like this, it kind of did make sense because they did change the color of the challenge tokens. They used to have that Power Nova color within the token itself, but now it's green for some reason. But they never explained why it was green. A lot of us assumed when we saw the leaks of the green challenge tokens that yes, we were getting a new camo, but it just never happened this season. And that's probably because we already had 2 on the way, which was Ivory and Lunar Tier. So they probably didn't want to, I guess, oversaturate this season with all the content that we got. Which, let's be honest, I mean, as weird as it's going to sound, it's not really much content. Most of the stuff that we already got is basically just everything that we're getting for the rest of the season. Which is kind of like a topic within itself, because I have noticed that they kind of just blow through all of their content within the first 2 weeks of the season. And since most of our seasons are around 35 days or maybe even 28 on a lucky month, I would say. Yeah, they kind of seem to do this thing where like all of the content just gets laid out within the first 2 weeks, and then there's like nothing to do for the rest of the season. And when I mean content, I also mean the lucky draws. Like most of the new draws that come out usually come out within the first 2 weeks, and that's it. Like all we have this week is that little unicorn M1 Grand and the mythic VMP. and the rest is just going to be recycled content. And I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but I do upload a lot less during the end of the season, or I guess like near the midpoint to the end of the season, because there's just nothing to do. Having a new secret cache camo will give me something to do within those later parts of the season. During season 4, I didn't even play for like the last 2 weeks of the season. Like there were times where I did, maybe just for tournament mode, but other than that, like, I just didn't really play that much, and you guys didn't see me upload that much either until the update came out. So now with all that explanation out of the way, the question is now what's going to replace Power Nova. So a lot of people have been speculating on what it could be, mainly because the color of the challenge token now being green. Some have actually speculated that it could be the weaponized 115 camo. For those of you guys don't know what that is, Weaponized 115 was actually introduced in Black Ops 2 as a DLC camo, where camos used to cost like I think $2 and you were able to put it on everything, compared to now where of course it's a lot more expensive than that if you're not counting this game. Remember, this was back in the day when Activision was a lot more generous. But this weaponized 115 camo was actually considered to be one of the best camos I think ever released, especially in Black Ops 2. Basically, it kind of turned your weapon into like this parallax thing, kind of like Ether Crystal, but definitely a lot better. You could notice that the parallax effect was actually there and you didn't have to inspect your weapon to see the effect. But it didn't just affect the body of the weapon. It also changed the iron sights, you know, the magazine, just basically everything. It turned it into like this little silver metal plating deal going on around the weapon. It was pretty cool. The camo was later released in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. Both of them, I think actually Weaponized 115 might have been like some weird bundle camo, or like you had to like, it was kind of like a special edition camo. I can't really explain it, but it was a pretty rare camo to find. The quality felt lower despite the fact that Black Ops 3 was actually a massive jump in graphics because it was released on the Xbox One and not the Xbox 360. It was a next-gen game at the time. However, I think it was also released in Black Ops 4 as a reactive camo, so like the more kills you got, the weaponized color would actually change from green to like orange to I think red and also blue. So they also had that variation as well. Again, it was nowhere near as good as the Black Ops 2 version. I think the Black Ops 2 version will definitely be the most superior looking one forever, unless, you know, they somehow impress us next season. But again, this is just speculation. I'm not really sure whether or not it's going to be the weaponized 115 camo, but given that the color of the challenge token is green, it might actually be possible, but again, chances could be very slim anyways. It could just be some green slime camo or just maybe a green version of Power Nova, who knows? But of course, again, like I said, it's just all speculation. We don't really know what the devs are thinking. Maybe if someone asks in their next community update, maybe there could be, maybe someone could point out that maybe it could be the weaponized 115 and maybe they'll like drop a hint. Or they could just say that, oh no, that's not what the camo is going to be, you know? You never know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.